Welcome to the Dose of Good podcast, where we celebrate good people and organizations working to make the world a better place. It can be easy to get caught up in the bad things going on in the world and forget about the good happening all around us each and every day. I'm your host, Erin, and I want to share these stories with you and give them the attention they deserve. I hope this podcast educates and inspires you and maybe even motivates you to share a dose of good in your community. Now let's get into today's episode. For today's episode, I'm going to be speaking with Tyler Yankee from the Daniel Webster Council, which is the New Hampshire branch of the Boy Scouts, which you'll learn there's some changes going on, or they have been going on, and I just wasn't aware of them. But there's a lot going on in scouting. They have so many great programs that kind of branch out of the scouting, and so many wonderful opportunities for kids to get involved with and be a part of, while also teaching them good values and skills that they might not get in other places. So you may think you have an idea of what the Boy Scouts is all about or what's involved with Boy Scouts, but listen to this episode because you'll learn a lot and see that it might not be exactly what you think, and hopefully you'll be inspired to look into it more and get involved or get your child involved. So now let's get into the episode. Today I'm here with Tyler Yankee, Director of Marketing and Communications for Boy Scouts of America, Daniel Webster Council Chapter. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Erin.
So could you tell us a little bit about the history of the Boy Scouts and what they strive to do today?
Yeah, absolutely. So Boy Scouts of America were founded here in America in 1910. It was originally a youth movement in England by Lord Baden-Powell. Developed a handbook for boys to teach boys how to be good citizens and develop life skills and survival skills early on in England. And that was adapted here in America, and we brought it over in 1910. And the mission has stayed true throughout, empowering young people to learn and develop skills to live an impactful and purposeful life. And that's really what the core mission is all about, providing these resources and life experiences for young people and families to learn about their community, be engaged, and deliver some impactful things in the future.
And can you tell us about the various levels of scouting? I'm not super familiar with it, but I know there's Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts.
Yeah, and step back a little bit. We have a couple programs. You mentioned Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. We've changed that name to Scouts BSA.
Oh, okay.
Our organization has a lot of jargon, and we're working to get through some of that. And our programs are designed around age groups, specifically targeted. Traditionally, we've referred to those teenage programs that you would see in a Norman Rockwell painting, or what you may have experienced with a father or grandfather or uncle growing up, or brother. That was always called the Boy Scout program. We have Cub Scouts that starts at kindergarten and goes through grade 5. And then we have Scouts BSA, so we modified that name, made an update to that name in 2019. And that's for kids that have completed 5th grade and goes through the age of 18. And we also have 3 co-ed programs that we deliver here in New Hampshire. The first is Venturing. That's teenagers age 14 through 20. They age out at 21. They design the program around kind of their interests. So there could be a group that are into board games or high adventure or hiking or backpacking. So it's kind of a cohort of teenagers. Then we have Sea Scouting, where individuals and kids may be interested in what it means to run a ship or be on the sea. And this could be on land, where you learn navigation, or on a lake, sailing, or out in the ocean, or on a river. So real fun program introduced to the nautical life. And then we have a department that focuses on career development, and that's Exploring. That's a co-ed program, also 14 through 21. And we partner with outside groups, companies, first responders, police departments, fire stations, to deliver this hands-on experience for young people that are interested in that career field. So all of that, we umbrella under the organization as a whole, and we've started to transition our name to Scouting America, moving away from Boy Scouts of America. And the purpose for that is we're a very inclusive organization, and we've introduced girls in all age groups across our program. As I mentioned, we've been fundamentally co-ed in those older 3 programs, venturing, sea scouting, and exploring. But we've introduced girls into Cub Scouting and Scouts BSA. So it's important as we move into 2025 that our name represents who we serve. And we're changing that to Scouting America, which is very exciting for us.
Oh, that's all great to know. And I had been wondering about that if they allowed girls to join now as well. And so thank you for answering
Yeah,
that. And
absolutely.
as far as those other 3 programs, can anyone join those once they reach the age? Do they have to have gone through the traditional scouting, or how does that work?
Yeah, so our programs are open enrollment 365, 24/7. No scouting experience is required. I wasn't a scout as a child. I learned about scouting as an adult, as an opportunity to be a part of a mission impact organization. And I've learned scouting as an adult going through that role. And so I encourage everybody that's interested in experiencing what scouting has to offer, or even thinking about it, to come and try it. There's no deadline for an enrollment, no due date. You can join anytime. No prior experience is necessary, and that's the beauty of our programs.
Yeah, that's great to know. Thank you. So, what are some of the things that individuals could learn when they join Scouts?
Yeah, a great question. Our curriculum is based completely hands-on, so it gives them an opportunity to learn skills while they're doing the activity. I think you could touch on all those value-based things that you'll get out of scouting: confidence, character development, learning what it takes to be a leader in your peer group, understanding what is the right or wrong thing to do, what it means and what it feels like to help somebody, whether it's through a service project or just helping opening up the door. So foundationally, you have all of those values that you're learning as you're going through the curriculum. And the curriculum itself is teaching you those life skills. First, maybe introducing somebody that's in first grade to fishing for the first time, and they just fall in love with the outdoors. Or a high schooler that's going through the merit badge program that completes automotive maintenance and wants to grow up to be a mechanic and gets their first experience with a car through the merit badge program. I think these are skills and experiences that aren't offered anymore in day-to-day life, and Scouting is a great organization to help provide that. And I think that's what you get most out of everything, is those intangible values, but also you're learning the skills that you can use every day. How to read a map, how to ask for help, how to connect with your local politicians. Those are all values to be impactful and purposeful in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, it sounds like they can get a lot of, as you said, the value-based skills that they might not be taught in other organizations or other parts of their life. So that's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've kind of touched on some of these things, but is there anything else you want to highlight as far as the benefits of being in Boy Scouts, especially for those who maybe start out in it young and kind of follow with it up till 18?
Yeah, I think two things. Scouting offers the flexibility for you to experience all things in your life that are important to you. So while the activities and the program may seem overwhelming, but the program is designed for your own pace. And so what's important is if you continue in or you're looking to join today and you're involved in sports and band and religious institution obligations, all of those things work in tandem with scouting. And I think that's the one real great aspect of the program as you progress through the ranks, and what you get to experience out of that. I think the other thing to that is scouting offers unique experiences that you may not often get the ability to do otherwise. Two examples that just happened over the last 2 weeks. We took a busload of families to New York City to see Aladdin on Broadway. And those scouts get a unique experience where they could do a Q&A with the cast and meet those actors and actresses on Broadway. And that's a unique opportunity that they didn't get other than being a scout here in the Granite State. And then even the programs we deliver, we just partnered with the Lakes Region Community College and delivered a Merit Badge Fair program. 180 teenagers came out for the day on a Saturday and completed activities with experts in the field. We had a detective with Concord Police Department teaching about fingerprinting and the science of fingerprinting, getting students into the car shop to change oil, change tires, work on cars. All of those unique things are what makes scouting so special that I don't think you get as much today in some of the other organizations or even in school as curriculums have changed. And I think that is what to really look forward to as you go through. But as I mentioned, it doesn't just start or stop there. You can experience that at any time in scouting.
Sure. Well, I'm glad you shared those examples because I think people have an idea in their head of what scouting is and maybe what sorts of activities you do. And it's nice to hear about these other opportunities that they might get if they join that, like you said, you really wouldn't get anywhere else. I don't know of anyone that's been able to do a Q&A with a Broadway cast, so that's
Yeah,
really cool.
absolutely. It's a lot of fun, and those are those extra values that you get going through scouting. And scouting is really a community. We're all focused on a common mission. We serve the entire Granite State. We serve every age group for children, 5 to 21. This is just a great community to be a part of to get those experiences that are either more cost effective or just unique. We do a camp out on the Fisher Cats. What's an opportunity for you to go spend the night, put a tent in the outfield of New Hampshire Fisher Cats and watch the Sandlot on the big screen, right? Those are unique, fun things that child's going to have that memory forever.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I know that you said you were not a Boy Scout, so how
Yeah.
did you get involved with the organization?
Yeah, I was fresh out of college, looking for some career opportunities. I knew somebody that was involved in the organization, and they talked with me a little bit about the mission and how that may align with my values. And I just leaned into it. It's been a great experience for me. When I approached it as what can I do to help offer experiences to young people that I didn't get as a child? I wasn't a scout as a kid. I wasn't aware of the organization as a kid. I had a lot of other great structures around me, but things as an adult that, I look back and miss. I would have loved to go through the Merit Badge program to get a touch of things that may interest me, whether it's photography or graphic design or technology. And so in 2009, I joined the scouting movement. I'm originally from Kentucky. I moved to Pennsylvania, served twice there, came here in 2019 to serve here in the Granite State. And scouting's the same everywhere, deliver the same curriculum, same mission impact, just new opportunities to deliver the curriculum. Great outdoor classroom we have here in the Granite State may be different than Pennsylvania. And that's how I looked at it. How can we as adults and leaders serve the youth in our community to empower them and help them feel connected, have a voice, learn and grow in a safe place? And that's really what I've been focusing on in my career.
And I'm sure, I mean, you've already covered a lot, but and I'm sure there are so many you probably can't name all
Yeah.
of them, but are there any other particular activities that the New Hampshire Scout Troop might do that you'd like to share?
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity. It is unique in every community. And it's unique not only by maybe the resources or access in that community, but also the interest of the families and even the volunteer leaders that are executing the program weekly for these kids. At the core, you're going to get the outdoor experiences, hiking, having a camping experience overnight that in a safe and comfortable way. Um, High adventure programming, a unique opportunity for teenagers that are interested in more advanced um, backpacking or hiking or canoeing experiences to take part in that. Each of our programs are age specific and the curriculum is guided that's age appropriate. So you really have new opportunities to do activities as you advance through. Some of our older kids during the summer not only go to summer camp, but we offer 4 high adventure bases in the country as an organization. You can go New Mexico and do a 12-day backpacking trip in the mountains or learn how to be a ranch hand. You can go up into Canada and on the border and do a 7-day kayaking excursion. You can go to the Florida Keys and do a 7-day sailboat excursion and fish and learn how to operate a sailboat in the Caribbean and really great, unique experiences. Day to day, learning about what it means to be a good citizen, how to do a good turn, how to help other people, learning those basic introductory skills that supplement what they're learning at school, but also giving them some more advanced knowledge, going fishing, for example, or learning an activity on a Saturday that may be an obstacle course, but the core of it is to teach you how to work together and how to communicate. Those are those intangibles that you don't get when you're doing the activity or really see it. Everything's advancement-based, activity-based, so each program is a step in developing those skills. In our Cub Scout program, the requirements progress as you progress in your age, in your grade, to ensure that you're staying engaged and interested as a family, but also to make sure you're developing the skills that you need to be comfortable. So, fishing, hiking, camping, service projects, just hanging out together and having a place where you have a safe peer group that you can talk to and be comfortable around. Those are all unique things that I think make scouting so invaluable.
Yeah, well, it's opening my eyes because my brother went through Scouts, but that was many years ago, and
Yeah.
it sounds like there's so many amazing opportunities for kids at all different ages, and that's just incredible.
Yeah, it makes it exciting and it gives the opportunities for parents to find a program in their community that meets kind of their interest and their style and their meeting location. And so, you know, Manchester may have 4 or 5 different programs to choose from in your age group, and the purpose of that is they're all unique. They all develop their own calendar and they all have their own plan and their own interests. So I encourage every family that's interested in scouting to find something that really just makes you comfortable and what you really like to experience. And primarily it meets on a night that meets your family schedule, and
Sure.
that's important. And that's why so many options are there. And that's why we did the introduction of girls into our programs, especially at the Cub Scout and Scouts BSA level. We heard from our families that it's difficult to have more than one child in multiple activities on the same night, and they may find scouting as their primary choice. Well, let's include the whole family in that experience, and we developed that program to design it that way, and it's been very successful.
That's great that you're able to kind of, like you said, include the whole family like that. So
Yeah.
now you do have a couple of summer camps available. Can you tell us about some of those?
Yeah, we have two main summer camp properties that we run throughout the summer. The first is Camp Carpenter. This is in Manchester, right off of Blondin Road, a great little piece of land. We've been running a summer camp experience there for quite some time, and that camp experience is focused towards our Cub Scout age group. Those students and participants that are in first through fifth grade really primarily focused there. And we offer two unique experiences during the summer there. One, we offer an overnight camping. This would be what everybody would experience of a sleepaway camp. And the way scouting operates on sleepaway camp, you go kind of as your cohort group. So if you've joined Cub Scouts in Manchester, you may have a group of people in your unit that are going to camp, and you would go with them as a cohort group and be in a campsite together. You do meals together. You do program together. And then we also offer maybe you're a scout and your cohort group isn't going to summer camp or you're on vacation that week. We offer a solo opportunity where we would place you. And those that overnight experience, you have to be registered member of scouting to participate. But at Camp Carpenter, we offer a day camp experience. And this is open to all eligible youth. We focus that day camp program on first through fifth grade just because while we do have Cub Scouts starting in kindergarten, it's all age-appropriate activities. So there are some things there for the kindergartners to do, but it requires a little bit more hands-on parent participation as well. And so that day camp is completely open to current members, people of the public, and I encourage anybody in that age group looking for a day camp experience, check us out, nhscouting.org, Camp Carpenter, and that is a during the day, Monday through Thursday, with a little aftercare program if you want to add on, and that gives you a taste of what scouting has to offer in the camp environment. Very great program. And then our second camp property, Griswold Scout Reservation. It's a little over 3,500 acres in the Belknap Mountains. It pretty much has the entire Belknap mountain range on the property. And that camp facility program is designed for our older age group. So our Scouts BSA kids, these are kids that are 11 to 18 years old. Our venturing program, co-ed 14, aging out at 21. This is that traditional sleepaway camp experience that you would imagine, 7 days. And what's unique on the older age group is while you may have the common dining experiences, your program design, the activities that you do during the day are unique to you. So you may pick merit badges that you're interested in, whether it's swimming or motorboating, Scoutcraft, basic skills, all of those experiences are there. And for a first-time camper, we have programs designed just for you to help you get comfortable and advance through to make sure you're prepared going into the fall with your troop. So great experiences there too.
Yeah, it sounds great. Just to back up a little bit, it seems like we should let people know if they want to join Scouts and find their local group, I guess. Is it just NH Scouting they would go to find that, or how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, great question. You can go to nhscouting.org to find information about how to join, and you can search using your zip code to find all the locations near you for your age group. If you go to 603scouts.org, so 603scouts.org, kind of like the area code 603. Yeah. There you'll learn about each of our program areas, watch a little video about our scouts talking about their experiences, and then you can search by your zip code. And that'll show you every unit in your area geographically. You can make contact with them. You can apply right online if you know that's where you want to get started as well. So really a streamlined process connecting there. And any questions or how to join or questions about joining, just give us a call.
Okay.
I'm happy to help. And you can give us a call 603-625-6431 or email us at support@nhscouting.org, and our team will be happy to guide you along that trail.
That's great. Thank you. Now, you've talked about some of the merit badges, but to get a little bit more in depth with that, how are those earned? And can you maybe give us some of your favorite examples of ones that people can earn?
Yeah, so we have over 130 merit badges that are available, and some are required for your rank advancement. So, in order to fulfill your requirements, there are certain merit badges, and some of those are Eagle Scout required as well. Those include things like citizenship in the community, citizenship in the nation, and in the world, where scouts are learning about how to be an active participant, how to connect with their local officials and interviewing their officials, kind of giving them that foundation of being involved in a purposeful community. And then you can even expand on to more hobby focus, whether it's cinema photography or graphic design, game design, automotive maintenance. All of those are really unique. So if you could think of a hobby or a career field, there's a merit badge that's going to introduce you to that program. I love technology. I've always been happy when game design came out, and it's unique to see kind of the passion behind that. And it's not just sitting in front of the computer to design a game or a board game, but it's also learning what it takes, what the technologies involved, the skills, how to partner together to build something unique. But you also have life skills that I think, even as an adult, I flip through the Merit Badge Handbook every now and then to go through things like first aid, swimming, life saving. All of those things I think are transferable skills across time. So the process to go through the Merit Badge, first the scout really identifies what their interest is and what they would like to work on. And then they have a conference with their volunteer leader, and they reach out to a qualified merit badge counselor. So a volunteer who has recognized that they have an invested interest or education around this particular topic, and they volunteer to teach the scout about the parts of that merit badge. And some of those things may be required for the scout to do at home with their family, or go do an action, like interviewing a local official. And that merit badge counselor helps guide them along that process. Once those requirements are fulfilled, that scout's completed that merit badge and they're recognized with the advancement. And they have a conference with their volunteer leader talking about the things that they've learned, and going through kind of a recap of understanding of the material. So each merit badge is unique. Each has its own amount of requirements. And so it really puts the responsibility and the interest into the hands of the scout to identify what are the things that they want to pursue.
Sounds like there's some really cool opportunities for them to learn fun skills, but also possible future career aspirations. So
Yeah, anecdotally, Steven Spielberg was a scout. I don't believe he finished the rank of Eagle Scout, but it has been shared that as his time as a scout, he learned his passion and love for filmmaking going through the merit badge process. So it really helped him have an outlet to lean into those interests and really find a passion. And I see that in all of our scouts, where they may be going through and identifying game design is something that they're really passionate about, but how could they turn it into a service project or an app to help, raise up the community around that interest? And I think that is when the magic of scouting really happens, and when the magic of the Merit Badge program happens, is when you can take the skill and what you've learned as a person through that experience, but elevate it to where you can share that knowledge and make an impact with others. And that, I think, is where the true value and magic of the Merit Badge program and scouting comes together.
What exactly is an Eagle Scout, and what is required to become an Eagle Scout?
Yeah, so an Eagle Scout is our top rank for our Scouts BSA program. It is the premier rank of scouting. And about 4% of Scouts will attain the rank of Eagle Scout. And that is a number of things in order to complete. You have the basic structure that you have to advance through the rank requirements. There are 8 in the Scouts BSA program, Eagle Scout being the highest. And in those rank requirements, going through those stages, there are pieces of that. Number of merit badges you need to earn, holding positions of leadership in your troop. So whether or not you're a librarian or a historian or a quartermaster or we call the term we use as a senior patrol leader. They are the youth leader of their troop. That's a quintessential role in scouting. And so you have those basic foundations of just completing the rank. But the real magic of the Eagle Scout rank comes in the service project. And that's where the true impact comes. And the service project is all developed, designed by the scout themselves. And so when they're ready, they will identify a cause or an organization that means something to them and meet with them to talk about their needs or identify a service project that they could lead. And the scout's role in the service project is very much a project manager in a corporate world, right? You have to identify what the project's going to be, secure the partnerships and the contracts with the organizations you're working with, develop a budget, identify how to secure the funds to pay for the project, whether it's through fundraising or donations, and then designing the project, right? Developing blueprints, meeting with appropriate city officials to go over any zoning ordinances if you were going to put up a pavilion or make changes to the land. So scouts are learning civic government, going through those processes, and then scoping it, proposing the project, getting that proposal approved, and then they execute. And their responsibility is to fulfill the timeline of the project. One, you have to be completed by the time you're age 18. And so sometimes procrastination puts a little urgency there. So I encourage everybody to not procrastinate, but it's difficult when some forces are out of control. And then securing your manpower, right? You're a leader amongst your peers, and you're recruiting your friends to come and help you deliver the project. So once that project's completed, you finalize your proposal packet, and you go in front of a group of volunteers for a board of review, and you present what you did for your Eagle Scout project, what it meant to you and the impact it has in the organization. And then that is your final stage into obtaining the rank of Eagle Scout. If you are able to obtain the rank of Eagle Scout before you turn 18, you can continue earning merit badges in the merit badge program. And by the number of merit badges you earn in kind of segments of 10, you get additional advancements. We call them palms. So some listeners may have brothers, uncles, dads, or grandparents that have Eagle medallions with palms on the ribbon. They earned their Eagle Scout rank and did additional requirements beyond. And those are what that represents. So it's really a project management tool, giving the kids an opportunity to identify and lead a project from start to finish. And what better way to prepare you for life?
Yeah.
In any job you have or in any situation than these experiences. And those are the one thing, looking back as a non-scout, those are invaluable things to produce responsible and participating adults. And I encourage anybody interested to just give it a try or take a look and see if it's an opportunity for you.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a lot of work, a lot of planning, but I'm sure in the end it's totally worthwhile.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's we're in the height of football season, and in football discussion, there's always talks now about concussions and how to save from those pain. And in recent news, if for listeners that are sports followers, in football, they've started talking about the Guardian cap, this type of halo that goes on top of your helmet to reduce the impact of that. That was designed and developed by 2 Eagle Scouts, and they shared that the success of that project and the development of the Guardian cap, their scouting experience was instrumental in that, and they approached that life-changing device as an Eagle Scout project. What that process was: identifying the need, identifying the scope, building a budget. Those are all the structural things you need to be an entrepreneur or a leader in the workforce or a leader in your community. And scouting affords that for you.
that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that story. Do you have some examples of local service projects that have been done that you'd like to share?
My favorite one's happening right now.
Oh, okay.
So at the end of October and the beginning of November, we do our big community service project called Scouting for Food. And so our scouts go out and they distribute information, door tags on your doors, identifying and sharing with you about our food drive. And the purpose of it is to do a good turn, to be active in the community, to call out all of our members. We serve over 4,900 members here in the Granite State. And what a workforce to get out into the community to raise awareness about those that may be food insecure and the opportunities to fill local pantries and to support our community in some of the biggest times of need in the holidays. Food insecurity is a problem that is year-round, and during the holidays, it's even harder when the community may not be in the same place. And it's a way for us to unify, come together, and support one another to have a joyous and happy holidays. And so we distributed door tags this past Saturday, and coming up tomorrow, our scouts will hit the roads again and collecting the food that is out that the citizens have opted to donate. And we'll go around and we'll collect it, and those scouts will distribute that to local places. So I do ask, as we move, it's something we do every year. So those door tags, I know sometimes they can be challenging in the yard. We have kids that are really trying to make an impact in the community and doing their best. And sometimes the door tags float away a little bit. So just giving the grace to the kids going through that community service project, and it really makes an impact in our community, and very excited about that one. And it's always my favorite one this time of year.
Yeah, that's a good one to know about. Thank you. Now, what does someone have to do if they want to be a leader in the Scouts?
Yeah, great question. So our volunteer leadership process, it's pretty straightforward. We have an online application process and a membership fee. During that application process, two things happen. The first, they get a comprehensive background check and criminal background check to identify and make sure that, it's safe, and safety is paramount. And the other is when you join a local unit, that unit accepts you as the volunteer as well. So they may want to talk with you and talk a little bit about your skills and what your interests are and how you would like to be involved, to make sure that when you do become an active volunteer, that you feel comfortable and empowered and have a voice. And so and part of that joining requirement is our youth protection training. We have an online youth protection training that's required for all registered adult volunteers, and that's completed every 2 years. It's changing to an annual cycle, but and that goes through really comprehensive look on things to identify and learn about child abuse or those vulnerable youth or vulnerable adults, of how, one, trends and patterns to identify to make sure that everybody is safe, but two, also to recognize that youth safety and safeguarding youth and scouting goes beyond just child abuse. It's making sure that you have the right tools and resources to do the activity that you're going to be participating on. You don't want to go on a hike if you don't have good shoes and good foundation, right? And that's safeguarding youth, because putting anybody at risk to get harmed is not a place for scouting. So we go through that, and that youth protection training kind of gives them an overview of all of those resources, what it means to be a mandatory reporter, what resources are available to them to report, whether there's an accident or an injury or an incident, but also empowering them with the knowledge they need to be successful and be a strong leader.
But it sounds like once they've gone through that process, anyone who's interested could be a volunteer or a leader.
Yeah, if you're eligible to do so, over 21 age requirements, and making sure that there's a right fit for you. Often, our volunteer base is often as part of that family. So you'll join and somebody will recognize and say, hey, I'd love to help mom or dad or uncle or guardian. Merit Badge program, we have everybody as a Merit Badge counselor. It could be a college professor or an alumni that just wants to get re-engaged. That's a great way to get reintroduced into scouting, is through the Merit Badge program, or volunteering to help at an activity is a great way. And same way to join as a youth member, and same way to join as an adult. And we'd love to talk to you if you have interest in becoming a volunteer in scouting.
Do you offer any sort of leadership training opportunities when it comes to like the adults that are involved in the organization?
Yeah, great question. I'm really proud of how much we do offer towards our leaders, and we offer not only training for them to be comfortable in their role, maybe that they're going to be a den leader, and a den leader would be a parent or somebody in the Cub Scout program that is working with a specific age group and guiding them through the curriculum. And so we have training that we facilitate to make them comfortable in that role, how to learn where the resources are, what it means to structure your meetings a certain way, kind of those best practices. We also supplement that with required trainings for taking your scouts into the outdoors or for a camping experience. We want to make sure that those that are leading those outdoor excursions, especially camping, have the skills and the knowledge they need to be safe. Right. This could be as simple as understanding what water facilities are available at your campsite, and if you need to bring potable water, that function. And then it continues to advance into more robust, comprehensive training. We have a leadership training program. Our terminology is called Wood Badge. But the Wood Badge program, if you took that name out of it and you replaced scouting with your company or your organization, that program could be replicated anywhere. It is a great tool for our adult leaders to learn about overcoming obstacles, to learn about scouting with different needs, learning about generational diversity and communicating to a wide range of audiences, whether it's the scout, the parent, the leader, somebody who's grandparent or somebody that's older, understanding all of that. And those are true leadership skills that are translated over. And our volunteers use that program as leadership requirements for their companies. And we've been able to kind of help guide them that way. And then we also offer additional supplement where we would bring in outside organizations to teach first aid and CPR, bullying prevention, suicide prevention and awareness programs, how to tackle that as a leader. All of those opportunities are not unique to scouting. I think a lot of organizations offer those, but in scouting, you have so many opportunities to learn and grow as an individual, as a kid or as an adult, as a parent or as a volunteer. It's really just taking advantage of those.
Okay, well, that's good for people to know. Thank you. And are there any fundraisers or events that are coming up that you would like to highlight?
Yeah, thank you. We have 3 exciting ones coming up. The first, I just want to recognize next Thursday, we're honoring Carrie Lehman, owner and president of Tidewater Catering, and 16 female leaders in our organization at our Women's Leadership Reception, recognizing all the great work in leadership that they do in our community. In December, on December 3rd, we invite everybody that's interested. We're holding a Safeguarding Youth Symposium. It's the second one that we've done, second annual one. We started it last year. We host it, but it's in partnership with leading experts in the field, Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, Police Department Active Shooter Task Forces. The purpose of that symposium is to really just educate and inform stakeholders that are involved with youth. What are some things to be prepared for and think about? And we find that a great value. But fundraising too, wise. Our scouts are actively fundraising almost every weekend throughout the state to support their adventures. And our biggest fundraisers in the fall are our annual popcorn sale. And in that popcorn sale, sometimes our customers are taken a little back with the price tag if you compare it to what you would get at Walmart or Hannaford or Market Basket. But when you look at the price tag, you're not paying for the product. You're paying for that child's experience in scouting. And making that donation to that scout to fund his adventure and getting the popcorn in return, hopefully you're eating the popcorn with a little bit of a smile, knowing that you made that life-changing impact for that child. Because in some ways, the money that Scout is trying to raise in front of that storefront is their way of staying in and having scouting. And if you really believe that every child should have an opportunity to be a child, to experience the outdoors and have these experiences, um, look at supporting them in ways that are meaningful to you. So as you see scouts in the storefront, or they come to your door, or you see them talking about it, lean into it a little bit. Ask about what their experiences are and why they're raising money, because you may find have some great stories to share about what they want to accomplish in scouting.
Well, I'm glad you shared that because I know in the past year, went to purchase some popcorn from some Boy Scouts who are outside of, I think, a restaurant. I was up north,
Yeah.
and both my husband and I kind of were like, "What? How much for that popcorn?" So I'm glad that you let people know that actually that money is not just going to pay for the popcorn, it's going to help and support those scouts to be able to do these wonderful things that you've talked about. So,
Yeah, 60, it's right around 60% of that dollar amount that you're purchasing goes directly back to that scout.
yeah, and I think more people need to know that. So
Yeah,
I'm glad you
absolutely.
shared that.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, no problem. So, is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to share?
I I would just reiterate there's not a better time to be a part of scouting. The last 5 years have so much has evolved in our program. So much is available for scouts to do today. There is no deadline to join. There's no time, and whatever commitment you can offer is the commitment that you can offer. And I would take the opportunity for anybody learning about the program again or reintroducing themselves, to reach out. Love to chat about your experiences and what Scouting America has to offer today, in the direction, as an organization, and really the impactful mission we have, and the generational improvements that are made through scouting, right? If you think of going on a hiking trail and that park bench at the entrance was made available to you 10 years ago by an Eagle Scout, and you're using it today, right? That scout had an impact on your life today to give you a place to rest. And we need to think about those types of things and what makes our community strong, and coming together certainly does that, and scouting affords that opportunity.
And then I just have two final questions that I like to ask everybody who comes on. The first being, which nonprofit do you think we should feature next?
Yeah, so I gave this some thoughts.
Okay.
I did, and two. I have one that I think you should feature next, and it's called the Connors Climb Foundation. The Connors Climb Foundation, we have worked with in Scouting America here in New Hampshire. Their foundation is focused on educating and informing leaders, teachers, adults that work with youth, primarily really vulnerable ages, age 10 to 24, on raising awareness of adolescent suicide and suicide prevention. I see it in the organization and I see it in our communities, just how devastating bullying is and bullying can be. And there's no place for it anywhere in society, and there's no place for any child to feel that they aren't safe and aren't welcomed and part of something. And the Connors Climb Foundation, we've really enjoyed partnering with them to come out and lead workshops for our leaders on suicide awareness and prevention. And I think anything we can do to raise the voice of the young people in our community that are suffering, to raise the voice and awareness to us as adults and peers to recognize these things, I think could make a lasting, powerful impact. And the Connors Klein Foundation is something that could, I think, makes an impact. Any suicide prevention could have a lasting impact, but adolescent suicide prevention, there's no place for that.
Yeah.
Every child should deserve to have a fulfilling and loving and caring life, and we need to provide every opportunity we can.
So they have been mentioned from some other people.
Okay.
If you have a contact, maybe after the
do,
show,
yep.
because I don't know how to get in touch with them, but I'd love to have them on. So,
I'd be happy to help.
okay, thank you. And then the last question is, what is the kindest thing you've witnessed or been a part of, which I know is difficult to kind of choose one thing, but maybe you can give a favorite story or something like that.
Probably one of the most profound and impactful experiences I've had in scouting was from a boy. His name was John, or his name is John. And John lives in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I served that community for some time. John was an adoptee from a Russia orphanage. And when his mom went to Russia to adopt a child and found John, if you're not familiar with past experiences with orphans in Russia, sometimes their conditions are deplorable. And if they have any type of motory or development delays or any type of physical or mental delays, they're often kept in really terrible situations. And so John has cerebral palsy and was left in kind of a crate that wasn't really much bigger to turn around in. And John's mom found him and immediately knew John's home was going to be with her in Bethlehem. And you can experience and imagine how difficult that is as a mom with new challenges, a new child, really not verbal, a lot of physical disabilities. And she thought scouting would be a perfect opportunity to get John involved and to experience life and develop and build his confidence. And John joined Scouts. And I had the pleasure of being at John's Eagle Scout Court of Honor when he obtained the rank of Eagle Scout and overcome all obstacles. Went to summer camp. You can imagine walking through the woods with walking support during summer camp over rocks and all those accommodations. And it showed two things to me. One, the love and perseverance of a family and a child to overcome the obstacles in front of them and to take advantage of what they have, and to embrace scouting as an opportunity to do that. But I think the other side, too, is how much scouting provided to John to become a really impactful and purposeful adult, very active in his community, very active graduate of community college, very active member and participating adult. And that kindness and that openness and that ability to accept regardless of what you're experiencing in life, when you come and you put on your Scout t-shirt or your Scout uniform and you're working together in a beloved community that are all there to support one another. And if you can take those experiences and then transpose those into your actual life where you're thinking about doing the right thing for other people at all times, and you don't just do it with your Scout uniform on, those have lasting generational impacts. And John has made a lasting impact on my life. One, to recognize, maybe push a little bit harder because it'll be okay. But two, just that sense of community and what it means to support one another and how that can change the individual's life, in John's case, but also change your life. because you learn a little bit more about yourself. Every scouting story can come back to that, and all the impactful ones have the same emotion around it. That's why I'm in scouting. That's why I became a scout as an adult. And that's why I'm so passionate about the mission, so we can ensure that every child feels safe, comfortable, builds the confidence they need, and has a place where they can thrive. And scouting affords that opportunity.
Well, thank you for that story. That's a great example of kindness and also shows how much someone can accomplish with the right support around them. And, yeah, I don't know what else to say, but that's thank you for sharing that.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you for being on the show today. I learned so much about the Scouts and all the great changes that they've been making over the years. And hopefully everyone listening to this will be inspired to get involved.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. I hope that you enjoyed learning all about the Boy Scouts, or Scouting USA, I believe was what they're calling it, or working to call it in the future, and all the amazing things that they offer children to be involved with, the way they're helping our youth and giving them incredible opportunities. I hope that you will check out a scouting group near you and the opportunities that are available in your area. And I will leave all the information on where to find them, how to get in touch with them in the description. So I hope that you'll check it out. As always, thank you for listening and supporting the podcast. Be sure to follow Dose of Good Podcast on Facebook and Instagram for all the latest information about the podcast. Be sure to leave a rating and review where you listen to your podcast so that more people can discover it. And I hope you have a great day, and I'll be back soon with another episode.